What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the quarantine zone again. And this time we are here with Jon of Kingdom of Us, also known as KOU. Thank you so much for being here today, man.
Absolutely, man. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. It's only Monday. What a great weekend. Um, but it's so awesome to have you here. So the newest single that you just released, I really enjoyed the single Tranquility. Is this maybe a good representation of what maybe a full length Kingdom of Us album will sound like, or is this just one little taste of it, being that it was sort of like a collaboration between you and the Sass brothers?
Absolutely, man. The KOU project so far has just been me with a couple of different producers here and there. So teaming up with the Sass brothers is definitely a preview of what's to come. Those guys are incredible. They're young musicians that never got the chance to get exposure, and they've been endorsed by PRS since they were teenagers. And they would play the NAMM show, and all of the rock stars would come and watch them shred at all the booths. So these guys are just the coolest unknown guitar players that I'm trying to help bring to the world. So yes, this is a preview of what's to come. We have more singles coming with those guys as they are getting integrated into the KOU project itself.
This is awesome, and I've seen them at NAMM a couple times, and they know how to shred. And working with PRS, that's a great team to have behind you as well.
Absolutely, man. And we're about, I don't want to give any spoilers, but we're about to release a playthrough video of Tranquility with PRS, just so everybody knows. It is coming soon.
Awesome. This interview is going to be uploaded by midnight tonight. So is that something I'm going to have to crop out, or is that good to keep in here?
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's just a teaser.
Awesome. Awesome. I do like teasers. Now, I know that activism is sort of like the sort of goal behind this, and there's been a lot of bands that do have kind of like these messages that they want to convey. Why do you feel like the style that we've been hearing on a song such as Tranquility is maybe sort of like the best style to sort of address this subject matter?
I mean, for me, it's been tough because, I was a drummer my whole life. So I'm just now stepping out as a vocalist, and I was a backup singer in Red Jumpsuit. So for me to go from sitting on a drum throne all the way to the front is completely different. So it's been a journey trying to figure out where my voice sits musically, because a lot of people say that it's very theatrical. So it's almost borderline like Broadway style, the way that I project my voice. So I think on rock music, it fits the best, but it also fits well with EDM, but certain types of EDM. So I think, honestly, vocally, we're still trying to find where I sit
Hmm.
with the music, because sonically, I project so loud that it almost like takes over the whole mix. So we have to find where to put it musically.
Yeah,
So it's very interesting, you
yeah,
know.
and it is very interesting. It's been like the coolest trend. I don't want to call it a trend, but it's been like the coolest thing of seeing drummers step up to be the front man. Obviously most noticeable Dave Grohl, but Sal, who used to drum for Life of Agony, now sings in A Pale Horse Named Death. You have,
That's awesome.
yeah, like you have so many drummers who are just stepping up to the forefront now, and Jeremy from Five Finger now is stepping up as a front man. So this is a really interesting sort of a thing happening in rock and roll. Is there anything though that maybe for the creative process at least that makes it similar as a vocally? Having the rhythmic background, does that maybe come into play as a vocalist, like what you would have done in Red Jumpsuit?
Oh yeah, yeah. Without a doubt. I mean, I'm able to write songs vocally fairly quickly because I know arrangements. Because I know how things work musically, and being a drummer, you have to know each section and all of the changeovers into the next section. So having that in the back of my mind when I'm writing vocals, I can write vocals in like 10 minutes because of that.
And it's very
So yeah,
impressive. That's very impressive. And again, you have like the rhythmic background behind it too. So like, there's vocalists who have a great range, but sometimes can't keep time within the arrangement. So it's good to have that sort of quality on your resume.
yeah, they say that the best vocalists and the best producers can at least play a basic rock beat on drums, like a because basically, if they can get that in their head, it'll help them subdivide how to put their melodies into place.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Definitely, it makes a lot of sense. And the famous saying, "Your drummer sucks, your band sucks." So when you take KOU out on the road though, is it almost, and you have a drummer playing with you and you're on the front man? It's almost going to be like seeing somebody with your ex, right? Somebody else is behind the kit this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're gonna do when that time comes is I want to get a drummer that challenges me, someone that like I think is better than me. You know what I mean? That way, every night it's like a wow, okay, cool. I get to not only be in front of this guy, but like this is somebody I look up to. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
So, and we're still developing that now. This project's only done a handful of live shows, and most of them were in front of my hometown audience, and was only in the state of Florida. And then I did Imagine Festival in front of about 40,000 people. I did the song Burn, and that was in 2018 as like a premiere of the project. They brought me out as a surprise special guest, and it was like a whoa, because I had been playing drums for the festival, and then I got off the drum set and then premiered my project to that audience, which was amazing.
That's one hell of a debut performance right there. That's one hell of a presentation. Um,
Yeah.
and you mentioned that you can write lyrics or vocals fairly quickly, but vocals have like two parts. Whether it is you have to have the range and the melody and the harmony, but you also have to have lyrics incorporated. Do you sometimes have the lyrics also written, or do you maybe need to hear music before you could think of like a lyrical idea?
I mean, I kind of approach it the old school way, like almost like the Journey approach. Everything's about the chorus. So I write the chorus first, and I get the whole message has to be in the chorus. Like it's got to be this is what we're saying, and then you build everything around the chorus. This is just one approach, but this is how I do it. So I focus all my time and effort on just the chorus. Once I get the chorus, then I build all of the lyrics around the chorus.
Hmm. I mean, the journey approach. I like that. I like that terminology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think there's I call it the Queen approach because I think Queen has the best choruses ever. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And man, what's going on with Queen right now with Adam Lambert's incredible.
I've yet to see it. I missed it because I was covering another show when they played at Madison Square Garden. But I heard it's a sight to see.
You got to check it out. The video or the behind the scenes video they put on Netflix is incredible. You got to check it out.
Yeah, Adam Lambert's a very talented guy. I know I'm gonna get
Yeah.
and you're hearing that from a guy wearing a Deicide shirt. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now, do you like to leave your lyrics open to interpretation, or being that there is sort of like an activist sort of mentality behind this, you kind of want listeners to be informed or be just as engaged as the lyrical content as the music itself?
Yeah, normally I do like in the single before Tranquility Burn, I left it up to interpretation of like, if you're more inclined to, and based on like what religion you associate with, you can kind of personalize it that way. Like if you're Buddhist, you could personalize it with your own religion, or if you're Christian, like the whole point of Kingdom of Us is it's about all of us. So I try not to like segregate any kind of ideas or beliefs or anything. It's like these are literally songs about us as humans and what we go through as humanity. So yes, I do that for sure. I definitely I want it to be up for interpretation, but with Tranquility, I felt like there wasn't an artist yet that pointed it out and said, I need you to help me save this planet. No one had done it. No one just had the balls to be like, let's do this. You and me and all of us, let's do something to save the planet. And that's why we teamed up with One Tree Planted. And for every dollar that was donated, it'll plant one tree in your honor. So we had to, like, it was almost like a call to arms for me. I was waking up to what was going on with climate change and with global warming. And I think all of us were, with amazing activists like Greta Thunberg and everything that happened in like 2018, 2019. But no one had brought it to the music community and said, hey guys, like share this message. Let's get this out there, you know? And so I felt a calling in my heart to do that.
Do you feel that maybe like when it comes to lyricism of this subject matter, there is a lot of research involved, or can maybe your own personal experiences or maybe your own personal views that could have been obtained from this maybe also play into the lyricism as well?
Honestly, when I was writing the song, I was driving around Houston, Texas. That's currently where I live. And I just saw trash everywhere. I saw people just throwing out full mattresses and dressers sitting on the sides of the street. And I was just like, man, what are we doing? And that was just part of the inspiration for the song. And then with everything that was happening, with all of the documentaries that were coming out about climate change and all the things that were happening in the world, and how we're just turning a blind eye to it, it blew my mind to the point where the song just kind of wrote itself,
It does
to
sound
be
like
honest.
it does sound like a very organic song, which, fairly appropriate. And and what I find great about it, I find the music very easy to digest. Like, I played the song for a couple of my peers who may not really care about the issue as much, or may have their own personal opinions on it, which I won't go into detail of, but they said, "Okay, I don't maybe identify with the message, but the music is indulging. I can indulge in the music." And I think that's something that's very great
Yeah.
about KOU, is that, like, like, I know people who are right wing Republicans who jam to Rage Against the Machine because their music is just
Yeah.
so catchy. It's so fun to listen to. It's so easy to grasp onto. And I feel like your
Yeah.
music kind of has like a similar. Obviously, you don't sound like Rage Against the Machine, but I think your music has that indulging aspect behind it, to the point where people are like, I could just enjoy this. It doesn't feel like you're. It's not like the composition is put aside at expense of the concept.
Yeah. To kind of give you the backstory of why KOU is KOU and why we're doing songs like this, it goes all the way back to when I was in Red Jumpsuit with Face Down. We teamed up against with the domestic, what was it? The Coalition Against Domestic Violence with Face Down. And we were able to help not hundreds, but thousands of battered women. And almost every single show, a woman would come up to us at our signing and say, I left my husband because I heard Face Down for the first time on the radio. As soon as I heard it, I left my husband who was beating me. And I think that you might have saved my life.
And that's the power of music. And first off, thank you
Mm-hmm.
for doing that. I think that's incredible that you've done something like that. And let me also just tell you this as well, that Face Down is pretty much like a song that I grew up with. I was in just entering junior high school when that song came out. Sorry if I
It's
make you
awesome.
feel old, but like
No,
that,
you're,
but that song, as well as My Chemical Romance's Black Parade, like, those were like the anthems that so many people related to. Like, I know that there was a message behind it and that this was went to a great cause, but I don't think you realize that this is not that's now like an anthem that we grow up with, and that's something that we have been indulging in. So
yeah.
it's
Even
really
the
great to hear
younger
that.
even the younger generation, I mean, it's been Face Down still blowing up almost daily on TikTok. So all the kids are like doing sing along videos, and they're doing like head banging videos to Face Down. And it's so funny because if you go on TikTok, I barely have any followers on there. The Red Jumpsuit account barely has any followers on there. But you've got kids with millions of views blasting Face Down, and it's amazing.
That song is gonna stay forever. Like, that song
Yeah.
will that you created a forever song, a timeless song. So again, I grew up with it. It's part of my life. It's part of everybody else's life, whether they're sick of the song or not.
Yeah. I mean, I hear it on the radio all the time, even to this day. And every time I hear it, I just kind of smile. I'm like, man, I thank God that I had that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
To be a part of something like you said that's timeless. That for everyone will forever remember that song on a list of like what 300 songs maybe that are timeless. So to me, it's such an honor to be a part of that. So
And it made a positive change in the world, so everybody wins. Uh, now, another question I came up with, and there's no way that you gave me this information before we started rolling to the viewers, just letting you know. But the meaning of the band KOU, Kingdom of Us, but it's also short for KOU, like KOUP. And again, I knew this on my own. um, but I'm curious, like, so, to have like a double meaning behind that name. Like, was that something that you've always wanted to do? Like, I know some artists aren't like, so what's the band name mean? But like,
yeah.
I do find it interesting when it has sort of like a double meaning. Like, how did this idea, was it just kind of like a happy accident?
Well, the first couple of KOU songs were written in the back of the tour bus in 2009.
Wow.
So some of these songs are that old, and it all kind of developed because when you're signed to a major label, each individual band member has to set up their own publishing company to collect your personal royalties. And my publishing company was called Kingdom of Us Publishing. So that's where it started because I loved the idea of us. And, you know, a kingdom is built, right, by the work of people's hands. And everything is built hand in hand. So we build our own existence, we build our own future, and we build our own dreams. So that was the whole premise of the last decade of my life. I've kind of lived by that. So that's where the idea of Kingdom of Us started and how it's developed over time. And then I realized in researching when I was about to announce the project, like 2 years ago, I typed in KOU, and the only thing that really came up was a character in Japan. And then by accident, I saw coup, like COUP, meaning an army that would attack another army and run a coup on them to win the battle. And I went, oh my, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to put messages out into the world to better us, to bring positivity into the world. I want to run a coup on all of the negativity. And that's where it came from.
Very so it really does have like a double meaning in a way, and I find it did your publishing company cool with you naming your band after them? Was that a copyright issue?
Well, I mean, it's my personal publishing company, so
oh, okay.
Basically you have to set it up so that you could run it through all of the channels like BMI and all that stuff. So
oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's a good idea though. Like I'm gonna start a band called Cosa Nostra.
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah. Hey, it might work. That'll be the new thing. People naming their bands after labels and publishing companies.
Yep.
That's what the kids are doing now.
That's it. Let's do it.
Yeah. You ready for the most difficult question about songwriting?
Sure.
How do you know when a song is finished?
Oh, that's the hardest part. Luckily, what I've been doing recently is I've been teaming up and doing a lot of collaboration. So on Tranquility in particular, we did that remotely. So I did all the vocals here in Houston. The Sass brothers did all of their stuff in Chicago with this amazing producer named Andre. And Andre actually produced the song and mixed the song. And then he sent it off to Chris Crummett, who does Dance Gavin Dance and like all these other huge acts, and he mastered it. So luckily for me, once I wrote the vocals and I recorded all the vocals, I had to surrender it to them, like unmixed, unmastered. Here's all of my stuff. Here's the lead parts. Here's the harmonies. And then we would go back and forth mixing wise. And that was the hardest part, was trying to decide the final mix. And at the end of the day, we decided the vocals they sounded huge, but they sounded smooth. And then everything sounded big. And that's when we decided, okay, we're done. Like, let's stop. Because you can sit there and mix for years. Like, look at Metallica back in the day. I mean, they would spend like a year working on one album.
Yeah. And a mix can make or break something. I mean, there's many, I can only think of so many albums that may not have done too well, or maybe not were as well received, where just the mix could have just changed the whole thing.
Absolutely. And for us, at the end of the day, you know, my concern was the message, meaning the vocals. For this song in particular, the message had to be clear. Like, it could have just been just vocals, as long as the message was out there, because it's that important to me and to a lot of people that we get this message out. But yes, to answer your question, it's knowing when to surrender.
Wow, that's a new one.
When to stop.
That's a new one. Knowing when to surrender.
Yes,
that's a new one.
Like, it's let it go. Like, you know, one of my good friends, Vince, he was the tour manager for Skrillex for a little bit. And, you know, he toured with us back in the day as a merch guy. And he said the same thing, but he works in Ableton. And he's like, you know what, at some point, you just have to surrender the mix. So it's a kind of like an unspoken thing that we all kind of say to each other. You can't spend a lifetime working on something if it stays out of, like, if you don't release it, the world will never know it happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I feel like, especially with in your case, it's like a catch-22 because like you want people to understand the message. That's the importance of Tranquility. But like, if the song isn't good, are people going to even care about the message? You know what I mean? Every song that spoke to me on a political level, on a personal level, it had to do with the music first. That's what drove me in, and then I later identified with the music. So like I feel like it really is like the art of making something compelling, also making something direct. It seems like
yeah.
you have a lot to think about before you release it into the world.
Yeah, and Tranquility in particular is kind of the throwback. I mean, nobody's doing almost 5 minute songs anymore. Everyone's doing 2.5, 3.5 minutes max.
I could
So
give
the
you
fact that we did a 5 minute single is a little ridiculous.
I could give you 30,000 progressive bands that give you 5 hour long songs, but
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today and for such a great conversation. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote with KOU in terms of new music? With the single Tranquility, obviously thanks to a certain bullshit virus that shall not be named. Obviously, shows aren't
Yeah,
in the fold at the moment, but we'll be seeing you on the road quite a bit eventually, right?
absolutely. And I would just like to say, you could check out Kingdom of Us on all platforms, and there's multiple singles out and more are coming. My plan is to release a new single every 6 to 12 weeks forever. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep releasing music because I can, because it's 2021. It doesn't cost $10,000 to record a song anymore.
I'm marking this on my calendar now. Every 6 weeks, I'm
Yeah.
expecting a new song. So
So you can check that out. And everyone, please, whether you believe in climate change or not, at least go check out One Tree Planet, and $1 you can plant a tree to help our planet and to help us breathe better. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. And you can go to my website. It's KOUrevolution.com/save dash her. And we're doing a limited edition merch drop associated with One Tree Planet, where the proceeds are going to One Tree Planet. So go check that out. It's KOUrevolution.com/save dash her.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We are here with KOU. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next.